Now, staying with this story, thousands of migrants are stuck at Europe's borders. What they hoped for was a better future, one far away from the conflicts in their own countries. But instead, they have become pawns in a geopolitical conflict, surrounded by barbed wire fences and nations who want them to go back home. President Alexander Lukashenko says that Belarus seeks no confrontation with Poland, but warned that a war will be unavoidable if the situation does not improve. Belarus also wants the European Union to take in 2,000 of the migrants, but said that European officials refused any contact on the subject.
We need to get across to the Poles and show them that we are not barbarians. We don't want a confrontation. We don't need it. Because we understand that if we overdo it, a war will be unavoidable and it will be a catastrophe. We don't want any escalation, but we will protect those hapless folks as much as we can.
EU countries, including Germany, again rejected his call to accept migrants. Europe has accused Lukashenko of engineering this crisis. It started as early as March this year. Belarus simplified its visa proceedings, and this was done for West Asian nations, especially Iraq. Thousands were provided with tourist visas. Documents suggest that travel agencies in West Asia were working in partnership with tour operators in Belarus. All migrants had to do was take a flight to Belarus. From there, they could just about drive to the border. Now, it all sounds very simple, and that's what the migrants were made to believe too. Many of them were lured in by Belarusian travel bureaus. Middlemen offered them a passage to the European Union.
The EU must not give in to blackmail from Lukashenko. We have to respond united and very clearly to this state-sponsored hybrid attack against the European Union.
The Polish Prime Minister has called the crisis a prelude to something much worse. He said that Poland's border guard said that Belarusian forces were still ferrying migrants to the frontier. Poland has even threatened to sever a train link with Belarus if the situation does not improve in coming days.
Nie dopuścimy do tego, żeby ktokolwiek poniewierał.
We will not allow anyone to abuse Polish servicemen or your service, your work, which you fulfilled with such dignity and such efficiency. We are not only wholeheartedly with you, but the whole state of Poland stands behind you. And we will do everything in this border battle. Let's call it like this, even if only symbolically, which partly is also a hybrid war and not a conventional war. But we know that the aggressor that is emboldened by weakness, unfortunately, very often resorts to more resolute methods.
Meanwhile, migrants claim that Belarusian soldiers are helping them. As many as 13 migrants have died at the border, where many suffered a cold, damp forest with little food or water. Some even claim that Belarusian troops forced them into Lithuania.
They are with us. We try to come back lots of time, but we felt they bring us back to here again and again.
It has been days since the crisis erupted on Europe's borders. The migrants are still stuck in limbo. They are out in the cold and darkness at the frozen frontiers of Europe, caught between the fear of returning to their conflict-ridden homelands and the hope of a better life ahead. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.